Hello everyone. I thought that today I would make a short video to explain why I think correct use of the embouchure is a key part of my teaching. It's a sort of subject that can bring a lot of controversy. A lot of people say that it's impossible to sort of influence the way that your embouchure works. I know from experience that's not to be true. I changed my own embouchure and the way that I played quite dramatically about 5 years ago, and I've just continued to improve my playing ever since. There were a number of key things that I was never told in the past, because they are not addressed in the most popular methods. In fact, some popular methods even discourage acknowledging that the embouchure even exists or anything like that, and many just talk about developing strength but don't talk about what that strength actually means. To many people, strength of embouchure is just, how long can I play before it hurts, or until I can't hold on any longer. And people will put a lot of time and effort into just playing for as long as possible. You are not actually developing functional strength in the embouchure there. What you're doing is you are just becoming stronger at doing what you do already. That does not make you a better player. So let me explain what exactly I'm talking about here. Later on, or at least in the comments, the description below, I will refer to two PDF documents that I recommend you go download and read. One of them comes from the ITG journal, and it's an article called More Air, Less Air, What is Air? By Jonathan Kruger, James McLean and Mark Kruger. There are some really interesting aspects of that, but they discuss in that article something that I see to be of the utmost importance, and that is that pitch and dynamic are both controlled by interaural pressure. And what that means is the air pressure inside of your mouth. Now, most people will talk about the trumpet in terms of air flow, but I don't want to get into deconstructing this idea and explaining why I believe it to be wrong. It will take too long, and it's not the point of this video, but the model that I subscribe to is that we have our body, which is used to compress air, and it's the controlled release of pressurized air that determines pitch, timbre, dynamic, pretty much everything on the trumpet. And this is sort of shown, demonstrated, proven, whatever you like to say, in that article. I used to refer a lot to an article by Dr. Richard Smith about how no air needs to get into the instrument in order for it to make a sound. But I never really found a way of turning that into a practically applicable sort of method, if you like, or any way that information actually helps you play better. And so I believe that this article really bridges that gap. Now, the other thing I'm going to refer to is this. This is a PDF that I wrote last year. It is based upon the content of Jerome Callett's 1987 book Super Chops, and in fact I have borrowed a few of the images from that book. You can download that from my website at trumpetpla.net. Again, the link is in the description below, so you can go and download it. And what this article is explaining is the way that people use their lips. Two examples of the common way that people use the lips incorrectly, i.e. stretching, firming the bottom, flattening the chin, all of this sort of business, things, puckering, and why these things don't work. And I'm going to sort of basically explain this now without the use of the images, without telling you what is the right direction that the lips should move in. That's something that you can read from that free PDF right there. Now, this is the simple thing. If I was to just blow my air out of my body as fast or with as much power as I can, this is what happens. It's gone. I can breathe in deeply, fill from the bottom to the top, and then it's gone in less than a second. That's just like me doing this. I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to push against the air. It doesn't matter how hard, how much strength I develop. I make that movement with all the effort I can, and there's no real gain to building up the strength to do that better. It does not make me a stronger air pusher, if you like. If I was to take that same hand example and bring in my other hand and push against it, all of a sudden I can use all the strength I've got, the whole strength of my arm, to push against the equal and opposing force provided by the arm. Now the thing is with playing the trumpet is that creating a sound, making this as distinct pitch, timbre, dynamic on the trumpet is controlled by an imbalance of that, equal and opposing force, i.e. the air does need to escape through the lips to make sound on the trumpet. Maybe in a way something like that. But without correct resistance from the lips, you've got nothing to push against, and that means that you cannot build up strength. What we're actually going after here is the ability to use all of your body's strength to compress the air and push it through this controlled aperture. But you cannot do that unless the embouchure is capable of resisting the airstream. Now, loads of people love to think about this idea of the lip vibrating and acting like a guitar string. That's just not true. It doesn't work like that. We can get into it. Having that knowledge doesn't actually matter. It doesn't make you a better player. What you do need to know is that the most important thing is your lips' ability to resist the flow of air. Now, I haven't mentioned tonguing. I'm not going to get into tonguing now because that can be another rant you probably don't want to hear, but there's another thing in the More Air, Less Air article that talks about onset pressure. Now this is the setting the pressure in your mouth before release in order to hit a certain pitch in the centre, and that is something that is covered in my insisting on the way that I use the tongue, and I describe that on the tonguecontrol.info website if you want to go and read about that. Is there anything else? Have I missed anything? Have I explained this well? I think what I'll do is I will leave the description here. I will allow you to comment. If you're on YouTube, comment here. You can email me, rich@trumpetpla.net, Trumpet Planet, or chops@tonguecontrolled.info. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook. I've got 2 pages on Facebook plus my personal thing. If you're viewing this video, you probably know how to contact me already. So let's start a discussion about this idea, and hopefully I can help to teach you how to correctly resist the air with your chops in a way which allows you to use the full strength of your body to pressurize the air, help you to develop your tone, power, range, and endurance. And we're not talking here about mouthpieces. We're not talking here about contradicting, ideas. This is one thing to add into everything else you know that will make you a better player. Okay, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't, tell me about it. If you have, tell me about it. Speak to you all soon.